Hey, everybody. It is your host, Blair Nightingale here. Stock Talk Thursday, your one-stop stock shop. Say that 10 times fast. See, I couldn't even say 10 times one time. Say it 10 times fast. One-stop stock shop. What do I mean by that? Every Thursday night, 6 p.m., we're coming in here. I am going to show you what was hot this week. What was hot? What was not hot this week? And what is, of all the news, if you have been around this channel for any amount of time, if you've been trading, investing, even diving into any financial news, you will know very quickly that there is a lot of financial news. And why would people even care about the financial news? Because if you're interested in investing or trading, then we go to the news sources, right? We go to the analysts, we go to CNBC, Jim Cramer, you name it, all kinds of people to give us some kind of an idea of what we should do. Well, that's not what we do here at Tradeway. We make it simple. We make it simple. How? We show you how you can make the trading decisions. And when we look at news, we do it differently. We really want to simplify the news and get it down to one, maybe two major news items. The thing that actually moves the market instead of all this news. Industry, financial news is a massive industry. And as a trader, you don't need to know 95% of it. I'm going to tell you that straight up. You don't need to know 95% of it. So you can save yourself the time. You can save yourself the confusion. You can save yourself reading through all these things that actually aren't going to help you. Right here, we are going to help you know what it is. And I do know what's going to be the most watched item by Wall Street tomorrow. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But first, we're going to look at what's hot. We're going to look at what's not. That's what we do on here. Susan is lighting up the comments, sending this on over to some friends. Jeffrey's letting us know the weather in Colorado Springs, and I myself am enjoying a little cup of Joe on the air tonight. And I got to say, it's good. Jeffrey says, your shirt matches season's sunflower. I got a sweater. I'm a little hot in here today. I'm representing, there's a group of musicians I play with out in California. I'm repping the sweater today. But you can't actually see that part. But yes, it does. It's kind of you could say it's a sunflower yellow. I don't know. I don't really like that. That doesn't fit me as a man. But that said, we're going all over the place today. We got to get into what's hot. We got to get into what's not. And I got to share with you guys what's the news I want you to know for tomorrow. You know, what are we doing on here? Right? What are we doing on here? Every week, Tradeway provides you guys with content on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you're joining us from tonight. We've got people in either place and people watching on the recordings. We're actually going, think about this, okay? Tradeway offices closed on Fridays. We don't broadcast on Fridays, although I have a 5-day challenge coming up next week. We're going to do 5 days, Tuesday through Saturday. But normally, we don't do Fridays. Monday, we've got the Market Monday, okay? We're going to dive deep into specific market topics. We're actually going to look at charts. Tuesday, you get a trading tip Tuesday, right? We're actually going to teach you. We coach thousands of students trading, multiple different kinds of skill levels, strategies. We are coaching and helping them reach their goals. That creates a lot of content. We're sharing some of that with you on Tuesdays. So if you're interested in trading, you ought to be on there on a Tuesday. Word Wednesday from Jeffrey Nance. I just had a wonderful interview with Jeffrey this afternoon talking about the scriptures, money, what we believe, what holds us back, what we feel like God has to say to us through the word. And it was awesome. He is hosting every Wednesday. Now, this isn't just a commercial. I'm telling you guys, Wednesday is when we dive into the word because that's part of who we are at Tradeway and it guides everything that we do. Some people kind of, I don't know, they get uncomfortable. How can you talk about God when you're talking about money? Well, we talk about God in anything we do. Why shouldn't we do it when we talk about money? So we're pretty unashamed with that. We're not embarrassed. We definitely try to do that with openness, vulnerability, integrity, and that happens on Wednesdays. You don't want to miss that, okay? It's all recorded. And then here we are, Stock Talk Thursday. Rounding out the week, I want to show you what performed really well, what's really blowing up right now. You might want to know that. What's getting killed and why? There's some lessons we can learn here. Every broadcast we do is teaching you something important about trading. And that is why we provide this opportunity to you, okay? And I want you to understand some of the things that are happening in the market right now, because if you're going to be actively looking at them, then these are some things you're going to need to know. Now, you can see on the chart here, I have Bed Bath & Beyond. This is actually not one of the stocks we're going to look at today, although this is one of the, quote, meme stocks or the Wall Street Bets stocks. And I was listening to some commentary on what's been happening in the stocks. I'm very interested in some of the things that are happening in retail trading, which is what you and I are doing. This is what they call retail trading. Just you and me at home on our laptops, setting up an at-home trading business, which is what we are doing here. That is the goal of all of this, is that we would not have a hobby in the markets, but that we'd actually have something that is producing results for our future. That is the goal. So I was looking at this, but this isn't actually what we're going to look at. Tonight, I actually have a couple of stocks in both the hot and both the not, and I want to show you right now. First of all, we're looking at Adobe, okay? Now, this isn't necessarily, there's no complication to this, okay? We're looking at $420 back in mid-March, and we're looking at $590 just a short time later, okay? Adobe, one of these tech stocks, a lot of tech stocks have been really hot, but this one in particular is just really exploding. Here's what I want you to notice. In the more recent run, it's really gone either off of this purple line, which I'll define in a second, or this red one, okay? When it rides the purple one, that's a 5-day moving average. The 5-day moving average just takes the last 5 days, averages the price, and then puts it as a visual on the chart, right? Pretty nifty tool. Why? Well, for a few reasons. One, if a stock is staying above just the 5-day, that's only 5 days of data, that's pretty short, then that is a very hot stock. The hottest stocks stay above the 5-day. A lot of times they'll come down, hit that line, bounce up from there, and that is a potential entry. There's some other things we need to mix in there, but that's a pretty hot stock. You can see sometimes it's pulled through that, hit the 10-day, which is the red one, which is what? 10 days of data, 10-day moving average, and it's just been on a nice, strong run. I popped that in there to not overcomplicate it and say, here's a stock in an industry, can't say that one fast either, in an industry, and it's just moving up. I mean, it's just that simple. It is just moving up, hot, it's doing very well, and that one is on the list for that reason. Now, I want to show you this guy here, NVIDIA. Now, we looked at this one a little while ago. I want to return to this. A couple of things on NVIDIA. This is going to be interesting. First of all, we're looking at a price here of $543, okay? And that is on the 19th of May. 19th of May. Well, here we are, July 1st, and the high, $816. $816. That is almost straight up. Now, we've been looking at the meme stocks, right? We've been looking at AMC, these stocks that have just been going tremendously higher, right? As a result of this retail trading frenzy where people are buying these stocks. And we've covered that quite a bit in past Market Mondays if you're interested to know more about GameStop and AMC and things like that. We've covered that in those episodes. Very interesting. We just don't have time to keep recovering it right here because I want to focus on this stock. This stock is moving up very quickly, very consistently, and yet there's something else driving it in this stock. Now, NVIDIA has been kind of a market tech darling for some time. Here at Tradeway, we've followed NVIDIA for a while. It just has been a very strong stock. I mean, if I even back out of here, it's not to say that NVIDIA has never had times, let me do this, where it went sideways, which you can see here. But, some of this was just really, really wild. okay? And even way back. I mean, we were following it back here, right? This is when I started trading even back here. So NVIDIA has just been really, really hot for a long time. But right now, something unique is happening, and I want to show you guys this. NVIDIA is moving up extremely fast and no signs of turning back yet, except if you'll notice on the screen, there's this little S down here. If I click that, there is a split coming. Now, Apple, somebody can put in the chat if you remember, Apple did a split more recently. And a lot of people bought that stock before the split, right? There's no guarantees. Now, we have split strategies here at Tradeway. We teach courses on split strategies. But you'll see some buying in this prior to the split, which is coming up in just a few weeks. Because what's going to happen? You say, Blair, I don't even know what a split is. I can tell you I had zero idea what a split was when I started. But that's part of what's driving the stock and making it hot. What's something we can learn here? Well, it's going to do a 4-to-1 split. That's how we would say that. You can see on the bottom of my screen, it says 4/1. That would be a 4-to-1 split, okay? So what's going to happen to the stock is this $808.48 price, which today is not the split. So that may not be the price that it's at on the 20th of July. Likely, it's not going to be that price. But let's just say it was. If we were on the split date, then they're going to split the price of the stock by 4, right? So 800 would be divided into 4, and that's going to be the price of the stock, which is going to come down to what? 2,468. So it's going to be $200 to buy NVIDIA, which right now costs $800. You say, well, wait a second. If I owned a share that was worth $800 and then the next day it was worth $200, I'd be really mad. That's true, you would be. But what they're going to do is they're going to decrease the share price, but then they'll increase how many shares you own if you're already a share owner. So instead of owning 1 at 800, right, you're going to own 4 at 200. So to you, it's the same, except you actually own more shares. Now, some investors like this. They like this because they are anticipating, speculating that the stock price is going to continue to go up after they make it cheaper, right? The stock sticker price, if you will, is going to be lower. It's going to be lower. Now, the outstanding shares available in the market, of course, is going to change. And that's what I just described. But it can cause people to say, you know what, I want to get in on this before it splits. And of course, it's going up. Now, that's not the only reason NVIDIA is going up, but that is a significant event that is just around the corner. And that is why NVIDIA, in part, as I said, is so hot. Jeffrey said Apple was 4-to-1 on the 31st last summer. Wow, was it a year ago already? Crazy. Yes, Apple and Tesla split. And we saw this happen in Apple and Tesla pre-split last year. Okay. Adam says, hey, Adam, I don't know. Adam, I don't think I've seen you on here before. And if I have, it's been a while. So appreciate you. August 2020. Yeah, August 2020. So there you go. So you guys understand it's a very interesting thing. I mentioned this to some people just an hour ago. You know, I'd love to see Amazon split. Can we get Amazon to split? How are we going to get that done? Jeff Bezos is talking about flying into space. His share prices are in space. And we'd like to see that come down because wouldn't it be nice to trade Amazon? But Amazon is out of the price range of most investors. Now, there are some option strategies we can do that help us be able to purchase Amazon. That's beyond the scope of our day. So that is what's going on in NVIDIA with the split. So those stocks are hot, and there's a reason. There's a reason why they're hot. And I want you to hear that. I want you to learn that. This isn't just about Adobe or NVIDIA. This is about what stocks, what sectors are really hot right now. What are some of the favorite stocks in those sectors? That's an interesting way to think about narrowing down what I can look at. That's something you can take and use. Also, stock splits. I didn't know there was actually strategies built around stock splits. Yes, there is. This is all really interesting stuff that give you the opportunity to do something you've never been able to do before. You just need to build a bridge between where you are and where you could be. Getting the training is how we do that. And this is the place where we start and show you some of what that can be. Moving on from there, we've got the opposite side. What is not? What is not hot? Now, I mean, I can go out and I can find you guys stocks in the market and just find stocks that have fallen and say, here you go, guys. Here's a stock that's not hot. But I didn't do that. And let me tell you what's significant about this one and why I selected this. I mean, it is a big move down, okay? We've got, I live in Guam. Time difference makes it difficult to tune in live. Well, hey, I'm even more honest. I'm even more honored that you did. So I appreciate you being on here. And hopefully you're able to catch those recordings. But you made it live today. And of course, that gives you the opportunity to interact with us a little bit. And I love that. This one went down, okay? WBA, Walgreens. This one went down pretty significantly today. A couple of things. Number one, today was earnings, okay? Today was an earnings report. They weren't happy with the earnings report. We teach special rules around earnings because earnings tends to be a very unpredictable time. And we like to manage our risk well in trading, right? We don't guess, we don't gamble, we don't go for it. We manage risk. And there's a way that we do that. And that is the system that we use. It helps us know how to manage the risk. One of those things is we're very particular and careful around earnings dates. You can see right here at the bottom, this E, today was the earnings date. Clearly, Wall Street was not happy with the earnings results and sold off on the stock. So that's number one. Okay, this got hit today, but you can learn, oh, earnings, that's important. Okay, let me put that in the mental note as well. See, there's things I can learn here that not only go, oh, if I knew more about this and this and this, I could see more opportunities. But if I knew more about the risks, I could avoid what I'm going to call bad opportunities. Because every stock, when you're looking at it as a trader, every stock chart can cry out to us as traders, I'm an opportunity. Put some money here. Because especially when we're starting in trading, most of us have more experience than that. But price movement on the chart can say, hey, you could make money here. You could. But we don't want to go on could, we want to go on should. And the difference is our skill set. The difference is the system. So I want you to take these things and implement them. This dropped on earnings. That's really important. They don't always drop on earnings, but we're always careful on earnings. Another thing on this chart, I want you to see, even before earnings, this stock was struggling. It was continuing to show me something that is a problem for me. And if you're in one of our programs where we do live trading hours, okay, we are with hundreds of students on a live trading webinar from 2 to 3 p.m., which is where the market is at the last hour in Texas Central Time. I talk about this a lot, okay? I talk about this a lot. And you notice this stock is moving up, okay? Pretty nicely. It hits this high, okay? Comes down, makes a lower high right there. What does it do? Tries it again. Tries it again. Tries it again. Tries it again. Can't get above that line again. And even before the earnings date, crumbles. And now it's below this level that it hasn't been below in a long time. So even without the big drop here, this is the first thing I noticed. Boom, jumps out at me. As soon as I look at the chart, I see that. Horizontal line, couldn't break it. And eventually traders gave up, sold off on the stock. Earnings is bad, made it even worse. Boom, down we go. And now we're not looking at an uptrend. If you're following along on Market Mondays, you know we're not looking at an uptrend. We're not looking at a rolling stock. We're we're starting to look at this guy, which we covered just this past Monday. We're looking at a downtrend, right? So we'll see what happens from here. Walgreens, not hot, but a lot that you can take away from that lesson. Moving on from there, I thought this was so interesting, you guys. So I mentioned that Mr. Bezos, I've heard it so many ways. You guys can tell me what you think it is. What do you think it is? Is it Bezos? Is it Bezos? Off and on, the richest man in the world. Why? Because of stock. Because of stock. Now, sometimes it's Elon Musk, but you know, the world's richest people, they're not rich because they make so much money selling products, doing deals. They are investors. The richest people in the world make enormous amounts of money from leveraging in the stock market. More and more people are learning that this is the truth. This is how it is in 2021. I was just watching a long discussion on CNBC before I came on this webinar about the retail trading boom. Remember I said it's you and me. We're the retail traders. That is a booming industry. Multiple experts on this panel said it's never been a better time to be a retail trader. The fees have never been lower. In many cases, they're zero. There is no fees for us anymore. We used to have to pay quite a bit. You had to pay to open an account. You had to have a minimum amount to fund an account. You don't need any of that stuff anymore. Even charting now is free. So the barrier to entry is very, very low. And they were talking about just how powerful this is for people. Well, I mentioned Jeff Bezos. I'm going to look at the chat here. Somebody's saying something. No, you guys are just talking time. All right, we have nothing from the audience yet on how to pronounce the billionaire's name. I'll take a sip of coffee and you guys can maybe throw an answer in there. We're just having fun. Back to Virgin Galactic. What does that have to do with billionaires and Amazon and Jeff Bezos? Well, Sir Richard Branson is another one of these bigger than life billionaires, if you will. And this is his company, okay? Virgin Airlines, Virgin Galactic. This guy blows up. The stock blows up. What's the first thing I'm looking at? Well, that level it went to, not too much of a surprise. Now, it doesn't perfectly line up over here, right? It doesn't. But this is an area. You see how this is an area that had a significant reaction. What we're going to teach you to do is how to find and identify those areas that have significant reactions. Because if we can find the areas that have significant reactions, right, then we could potentially take advantage of that. We want to know that. We're not just looking at data sheets and listening to news and trying to find the next best company so that we can park some money in it for 25 years. Now, we have a long-term program here at Tradeway, but I said many times on the program, we on Stock Talk Thursday are covering trading. So the short-term advantages for you and your family to get a cash flow investing business, right? That's the potential of it. Is to find where are the pivot points on the chart? How do I identify that? How does this work? And how come other people just like me who have no experience doing this, how come they can do it? Can't I do it? And the answer that we have at Tradeway is yes, you can. Yes, you can. That is how we function. We are helping people do that. So when I first look at this chart, boom, it gets into that area and it falls. Now, that's not the main point I want to make here. I'm just telling you that after the last one we looked at, that is also present here. Gets a huge move. What happened here? Like, let's just go to this day. And I know that blue post price there is in the way, but just look at that even. What if that was today? Boom, big gap up. The price gap's up. You can see the distance in the candlesticks. It's moving up. That's a big day up. And then boom, it just falls, right? It gets crushed. Now, there's a few reasons I wanted to show you this one tonight in particular. Is this stock not hot? Well, you could make the argument with me, Blair, actually that chart looks pretty hot. It does in general. The whole is actually been pretty hot, but it's losing a lot of those gains pretty quickly. Now, here's what's interesting. I want you to realize that when a stock really blows up It doesn't have to keep going. Now, that might sound like a very obvious statement, but it's actually not for a lot of people, because they may look at the chart and go, man, this thing is going to the moon. It is Virgin Galactic after all, right? This thing's just going to keep going, or I'm just so excited. Oh, I can't believe I missed it. There's all kinds of things that can suck you and your hard-earned money into a trade just because it's moving up. But we want to teach you to do better than that, because you can do better than that. And what's the risk? The risk is that if we follow the psychology, and I'm not trying to be too intellectual here, but if we follow this out, what happens? People made a lot of money on this gap. This big green candlestick, people made a lot of money. And when people make a lot of money, a lot of them want to do what? They want to cash in. They want to cash in on the money they made, right? So the stock falls. I was reading some comments there. I'll come back to that. Right? The stock falls. So a lot of people make a bunch of money. Think of a room full of people. I'm in this big building right now. Bunch of people in the room make money, and they're all going, hey, as long as we all stay in, this thing might keep going up. But then one person slips out the front door and they're like, I'm out. I'm taking my money. This is great. Well, then if they go, then somebody else goes, well, man, if too many people go, then we're going to start losing money. I don't want to be third. I'll be second. And then somebody else is out the door. And then somebody else, and then somebody else. And then the price starts to fall. And as soon as it starts to fall, you go, well, I don't want to sell it for less if it falls too much. Now I'm getting out too. You see how this works? It's group mentality. Once the price starts to fall, more sellers can jump in. See, there's no more buyers. There's only sellers, because they want to take profit. And that's why we have to be careful with these, where they don't always keep going up. They don't always keep going up. We have to have a specific approach to these. And what happened here is a sell-off, gaps down, and then today another sell-off. Now, that said, I want to show you something here that you probably didn't notice on the screen, okay? Probably didn't notice this on the screen, but in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, I'm circling right now. Here is today's price, $43.19, down $2.81 at the close, okay? That was today's trading session. You'll notice right below that, post-market. What does that say? The stock is up 21%. 21%. Okay, it's up to 52.34, which is where you can see this blue line we've been looking at the whole time, right? Maybe some of you noticed that already. I referenced it earlier. What happened? Well, talking of billionaires, and this is just a fun note, you'll see the stock tomorrow morning will likely gap up to at or near that level you can see right now. It'll be volatile probably. Sir Richard Branson has said, hey, I know Jeff is planning to go into space with his rocket company, I think later this month, maybe in August. And Sir Richard Branson says, I'm going to beat him to it. I'm going on the 20th. Now, this isn't trading, right? This is just news, and it's affecting the stock. But he said, I'm going on the 20th, and the stock is blasting off as a result of that news. That just happened after hours today. So this stock was hot, then not, and now the news has got it going right back up. And the more news affected a stock is, the more out of control it can seem, because it's just bouncing around based on items, pieces of information that you and I could never use on the chart. So we actually don't want to trade stocks that are really, really what we call newsy, okay? Newsy stocks don't stay in patterns. They're susceptible to random announcements, and we don't want to do that. So that is one of the reasons I would say this stock is not hot, even though it's likely going to have a pretty significant boost at the open tomorrow morning, okay? Now, that said, that's on the news side of things. Jeffrey says, if I could afford it, I would take a ticket to space, right? Moved up on news. Yeah. I see your I'm going to put this up there for everybody. I see this, Jeffrey. And I'm assuming you're saying Bezos, Jeff Bezos. Adam says Bezos. Oh, hey, listen, I don't want a street fight here, guys, but we've got one vote for one vote for the other. So somebody out there, I can see you guys are in the broadcast. Somebody's going to have to break the tie here. We got to know. This is really not important, but it's fun. Now, I mentioned at the top of the hour, one news item. This is important, you guys, because I'm telling you, you scan CNBC, and that's just one source, right? That's just one source. There's a lot of news. If you go and Google a specific stock, you're going to find endless articles, in my opinion, that they have a lot of words. They just don't say anything. Now, that's not true of all of them, of course, but a lot of them, it is very true. And it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. The skill set that we're teaching you, that is designed to help you. The news, it just seems like a bottomless pit. And so it's good to narrow it down. I'm going to narrow it down for you. Tomorrow is a key economic report. Now, I know some of us just want to fall asleep and have a nap as soon as I say a key economic report. Not all of us, but some of us. And I'm speaking to all of us. But it is really important, and it's not too complicated. Basically, we've been talking about the fact that the market is really sensitive to inflation. If things are getting really expensive, then the market is going to respond because it means the economy is getting too hot. It's getting a little out of control. And that means that the Fed may change interest rates. And all we need to know is that the market does not want the Fed to change interest rates. They don't want it. They want cheap money, and low interest rates means cheap money. So if inflation goes up, then the cheap money might come to an end sooner than Wall Street would like. If that's the case, Wall Street will react to that. Okay. And that's what we saw last week, a couple weeks ago. Well, it's been real quiet this week. The market has gone up nicely. I'm going to pull up the chart so that you can follow along with me. Boom. Here we are in our new range. We've made it right to the top of the range. In fact, this candlestick looks like it broke through. I drew these lines last week. Check this out. Boom. Look where they went to today. Exactly to that line. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to fall from that line tomorrow. It's looking pretty strong. But that data is going to be important. Why would the jobs data have anything to do with what I just said? Because in the jobs data, they are going to say what the cost of labor is right now. And labor is one of the key expenses that Wall Street looks at to see what things are costing, right? Because companies, if they're ending up having to spend more money on labor costs than they used to, guess who they're going to pass that expense on to? Customers, you and me, which means what? Which means that's another thing in our economy that's going to get more expensive, which by definition is inflation. Inflation. So that's just more inflation. And if Wall Street reacts to that tomorrow, if the job numbers are too good, right, that is too high, then we may actually see an opposite or inverse reaction from the market. You say, well, the jobs report seemed really, really hot. Why would the market not like that? Because of what I just described. It depends on the costs. That's a key thing that the markets are watching. You said, Blair, I don't know if I can keep up with all of what you just said on that. What should I do? You just need to watch the market tomorrow and see, how did they respond to the jobs report? Is the market moving up or is it moving down based on that, right? That's going to be something that they are watching. And I think we ought to keep in mind that we are at a potential resistance level. If that news ends up being, I'm not going to say too hot, if it ends up being really strong, meaning labor costs are going up, then we may see an inverse reaction from the market. We don't guess. It's never guessing, gambling, or going for it. But we know what to watch for so we can prepare. If you prepare as a trader, you won't react as a trader. And that is a huge part of the skill set because most people react emotionally. They do not prepare with a skill set. And what I'm helping you do tonight is prepare with a skill set. Having the news sorted is part of that. Beyond what I just told you, and this is my opinion, I believe this is the opinion of Tradeway, there's not much else you're going to need to bother to pay attention to in the news for the market as a whole tomorrow other than that. The last thing I'll tell you guys tonight is that Monday is going to be the observed holiday and the market is closed. So remember that Monday is going to be closed. We will not be doing Market Monday on Monday night. We'll give everybody the holiday, give you guys some time. We're starting up the 5-day Faith and Finance Challenge on Tuesday for those of you that would like to join us for that. We are diving into the scriptures, beliefs on money, getting bold, getting free, getting the right perspective on pursuing financial wholeness, blessing, and even talking about wealth creation in this challenge, but doing it from a perspective that we feel adheres to our values here at Tradeway. So we have this conversation that a lot of people shy away from. We don't shy away from it. We're going to talk about it. That starts on Tuesday. Markets closed on Monday. Watch for the jobs report on Friday. And that's it for today. Thanks, everybody, for being on. I will pop this link in here, and you can simply click on that and join up. I'm going to give out all kinds of bonuses and prizes on this thing as well, so you can join in if you want that. It is a free challenge to join, so come on, join us in there. I feel like I had one more thing I wanted to say to you guys tonight, but I seem to have forgotten what it was, or maybe we just covered it all right there. If nobody has any questions, closing up shop tonight. I hope you guys have a great weekend. You know what I was going to say? I was going to say it's the 4th of July, and I've said this to a few students today, and I think I have the microphone so I can say what I want, and I'm going to say this. America it's not without its problems, and it never has been. It's not without its issues and controversies, and we disagree on a great many things, but this is the United States of America. It has always been distinct groups of people that are united under these common ideals, and we've never fully agreed on everything. And that is certainly the truth today, but it is still an amazing country with the most incredible opportunities for us, for our families. It's not perfect in that respect, but it is, I believe, the best place on the planet. And I've been to many places around this planet, and this is the only place that I want to call home. So I appreciate you guys for being on. Have yourself a wonderful 4th of July, and we'll see you next week. Good night.